Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full-body tail wag, the excited little hops, the big goofy grin, that's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with highest quality human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. With 5 protein-packed recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes or fresh turkey with blueberries, even the pickiest eaters can't resist. You might think, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box.
Wherever you go, whatever they get into. From chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredeliaQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.
This episode brought to you by the following patrons: Heather, Leaf Girl, Min, Jason, Madeline, Alyssa, Laura, Jeremy with the laser eyes, Allie, Kristen, and Tia. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome Horror Virgin community. And if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group, where we'll be hanging out talking about why you wouldn't want to bite a bearded neck daily. We're going to have to talk about this whether we want to or not, Paige. Although I don't know how you felt about it.
I like that you're like, I don't know how you felt about it. You sent me a text at 6 a.m. that says, you'll never get this time back. But I don't know how you felt. Honestly, they should thank Dracula for getting rid of their rat prop.
Yeah. Why hasn't anyone said thank you?
Yeah.
Huh?
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
And I'm your Horror Virgin Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, and you guys make me watch them. And this week, you guys really did make me watch them, because we watched The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Not the Deuter, like I said last week. That's Nosferatu's boat.
Right.
Anyway, Paige, I'm assuming this is the first time you saw it, because we watched it.
Right. Yes. Let me ask you something, because I was thinking about this as I was watching this last night. I don't know how hard the Mormons fuck with C.S. Lewis, but growing up a non-denominational Protestant, my mom read us all of the Chronicles of Narnia as children. And because I'm an old, when I was younger, we didn't have the movies. They did not exist yet. They didn't come out until I was like almost done with high school. We had the BBC VHS version, which I think must have been a mini series or something on the BBC. Are you familiar with these at all?
To C.S. Lewis?
No, like specifically the BBC versions of the Chronicles of Narnia.
No.
It was the only version for a long time. That's the only reason I'm asking.
No. Although I will say this, just to defend my Mormon friends that I have, I guess.
Sure.
They refer to the C.S. Lewis books as another testament of Jesus Christ. I grew up on C.S. Lewis, and then I was like, I think I read this once already.
Yeah, where did this come from?
But arguably, this is better. Arguably, C.S. Lewis did steal from publicly available IP the best.
Sure.
But it's not for me.
Here's the thing. People steal from publicly available IP all the time. Look at this movie we just watched.
Look at Nosferatu. We talked about it last week.
Right. Here's why I bring this up, though. In the BBC version, and I know there have to be other people in the Facebook group that watched this because they showed them in schools. In the BBC version, when they get to Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which is book 5, there is a scene in which, because it all takes place on a boat, they sail through an ocean of their own nightmares and deepest fears. And that is scarier than this movie.
Really? This movie scared me.
That shit is scarier than this nonsense movie.
I mean, I haven't seen that movie, so maybe Aslan grows wings and hunts them on the boat even though they're at the ocean. I don't know.
No.
But this movie was scary to me. Like, it got me.
What are you talking about, Todd?
There are so many, like, quick cut jump scares that come out of nowhere. I hated it.
Here's my biggest problem with this movie, and I thought I had read a review and a few things of this movie. Turns out I had not. Maybe that's for the best. I don't know. My biggest problem with this movie is the audience knows too much. We, the audience, know too much for this movie to be functionally interesting or scary on any level. Now, here's the thing. I really like the idea of doing the story based on this chapter in Dracula. I've read Dracula. That is an interesting and terrifying thought of being trapped on a boat with Dracula. I get it.
It's not scary at all as a premise, I think, because it's insane they continue their journey after night 1. But anyway, please continue.
Yes, okay. Here's the thing. So you're already starting with a bit of a challenge because we know where the story ends. The movie tries to change the ending. We're going to talk about that when we get to it.
I kind of like that because everyone knows the movie opens with the end. In fact, it opens like
kind of with the end.
Probably at the same time the movie is ending, right? Because the movie ends with Mr. Clemens, or Dr. Clemens, really, like going to like kill Dracula at his house now, but like the boat is also washed up on shore, right?
Right.
Like that's where the movie kicks off because we already know that as an audience. We know chapter 7 of the Dracula book, guys.
I think the movie ends about a day after the movie starts, if that makes sense, timeline-wise from what we're seeing.
Right.
Where I think the boat has crash-landed and it takes him a little while to get to shore.
But the whole thing is a flashback of the journey. I want to make it clear that the whole thing takes place over multiple days.
Yes, and here's the thing. Having a story where we already, as the audience, are familiar with the ending within our cultural zeitgeist is a challenge. Other movies have handled it better. Famously, Rogue One. Man, I fucking sobbed through the end of that movie, even though I knew what the ending was going to be.
Are you saying... Hang on. Are you saying that Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One is actually Dracula? Because... I mean... Love it.
Love that. But no. What I'm saying is, there are examples of movies where we already know what the ending will be that still aren't handicapped by it. This movie is handicapped by it.
Thank you for clarifying that what you were saying was not that it's a Dracula story as well.
But hear me out. What if it was?
I honestly love it. That would be so fucking funny. Anyway, sorry.
So culturally, we all know where this ends.
Yes.
In the movie, it literally starts with like, hey, this is based on this one chapter in Dracula, and it's based on the entries of the captain's log from that one chapter in Dracula. Great. The movie opens, everybody's dead. All of that, we know. So we spend a whole fucking movie knowing that everyone's gonna die. We don't meet people. We don't get names. They are cannon fodder the entire movie. We know that everyone's gonna die. They all die in mostly the same way.
Yeah.
And it's not very interesting. You could cut 30 minutes out of this movie of just people whose names we don't know dying in identical ways.
Paige, the only name you know by the end of this movie is Clemens because they say it a lot at the beginning, and then Wojciech.
And Toby.
And Toby, because they say his name. It's like, if you're not Mr. Clemens or Dr. Clemens, Toby or Wojciech, no one says your name. I don't even know the captain's name.
Abrams?
I think that's right.
I don't know. No, that was some other guy. I don't know or care. None of them have distinct personalities or character traits, and the movie's shot too dark for you to even realize who they're killing.
It is shot pretty dark. I did look it up. It's Captain Elliot. Eliot. So maybe Elliot?
Cool. Anyway, here's the other problem. We, as an audience, have a cultural understanding of the rules of Dracula. And not only do they absolutely break them and change them in this movie, but on top of that, more than halfway through the movie, they find where Dracula's coffin is.
I know.
On the ship.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let's wait for nightfall to see if we can catch him. And as the audience, we all know that the second you know where his coffin is, he is instantly killable the second the sun is up. And watching them bungle that for 45 minutes is fucking infuriating.
I guess they just didn't know what vampires are, even though she grew up in a village that knows what they are clearly.
And they've already watched a guy burn to death on deck because of the sunlight.
Oh, yeah.
Haul the coffin up.
You mean that time they were so unconcerned with the more dangerous thing on the boat than Dracula? Because of the fire? The fire's way more dangerous, and they're just like, tie him to the mainmast, which I get, like, listen.
We don't need that one, right?
I get they wouldn't know that he would catch on fire.
Sure.
But when he catches on fire, they're not immediately like, oh, God, we got to put that out immediately.
Yes, yes.
It's going to burn every sail and then the place down around us.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're just like, oh, man, that shit was weird, right? All right, well, I'm union, so I got a break.
Every choice people make in this movie is infuriatingly bad, like worse than a slasher. And then at the 11th hour, we get Clemens's backstory that's actually interesting that they haven't said anything about for the entire movie and found no way to actually weave it in or make it applicable. They just gave it to him as dialogue in a scene that is meaningless because all these people will still die because they can't figure out that Dracula only comes out at night, even though nobody's died during the day the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to take multiple breaks during this movie and convince myself to come back and finish watching it. And is that because I had just recently watched Weapons in theaters and was like, wow, this movie gives me a lot to think about. And I'm kind of mulling it over and listening to interviews and really sitting with it emotionally. And then I watched this and I was like, oh, they just planned nothing. Maybe.
Man.
Or I just wanted more cheese sticks. But boy, was this a rough watch for me.
Paige, what you just said, because I recently saw a movie and I felt exactly the same coming out of it. And go see Naked Gun. It moved me. It changed me as a person.
My dad said the same exact thing.
I know. It is a movie that epitomizes, oh, they're just fucking around. And it's so funny.
I do really want to see that.
Yeah, it's worth seeing.
Here's what I will say. I want to spoil none of Weapons. Everyone should go in blind. 100%. If you have a chance to see it in theaters, go. We will obviously eventually do it once it is more affordable for most people to see.
Yeah.
I do really wish I could encourage Todd to see it in theaters because this shit got some Hereditary level jump scares.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that at all. And there were a lot of jump scares in this that got me, even though they're coming because it's dark and they're on a boat and it's just quick cuts back and forth and there's no sound. It's not even there's no score or whatever and you're still hearing the boat sounds or whatever. It just cuts out all the sound and it forces your body to lean in, and I hate it so much when they scare you in that moment, and they always do. So you always know it's coming and it always destroys me, and I hated it. So I hated this movie. I also did look up that Clemens, if he went to Cambridge, would have been one of 7 colonial students that were allowed to go between 1800 and 1900.
He says he's the first. I believe him. That great.
Well, he says he's the first doctor.
Right. That's a really interesting story.
Yeah. Well, I think I do think there are some metaphors in this movie, some unintentional, some intentional. And I think one of the intentional ones is that they're trying to show that Clemens is the flip of Dracula in a way because he is also othered by society.
Sure.
He's just the good version of what you are if you're a good person who's also othered by society. It's out of his control, but he works.
I think that is a stretch, but okay.
Did you watch the movie? It's on the screen in the movie.
I did. I think you're giving them a lot of credit.
I do think there's a lot that's unintentional too, but I think they set that up poorly. And I say poorly because they set it up at the beginning that he's a doctor and he went to Cambridge, and that's interesting because of the time.
Sure.
And honestly, just because of racism.
Yes.
I don't know how else to say it other than that. It was just that, but that was the thing. And so I was weird. if he's like a doctor, like I get why he's still looking for work though, because again, racism.
Sure.
Like it's just the way it is.
That's what I assumed as well in watching the movie. Yeah.
But they don't ever touch on that until he tells you it at the end.
Right.
So it's like the crew never others him. They kind of welcome him on board. I guess you could say the captain doesn't hire him when he's standing outside the Romanian Lowe's or whatever.
Right.
But like they don't really other him like from society. They just don't hire him.
Right.
So like it doesn't do the metaphor well. I'm just saying I think the movie wants that metaphor there.
If they did, it is very poorly done.
I think it's clunky. I think the other one's a much darker metaphor, but I don't think they meant for it to be like in the movie at all.
What's the other metaphor that you think maybe is
Paige,
in this movie?
Everyone's going to hate me for this, but if you look at it, I think you'll see it, but I don't think it was intended. And I think that I think it's a great metaphor for what it's like to be in the middle class. Because Dracula is like definitely the taker class.
Sure.
They're like the ownership class.
Of course.
He's got the resources. He hires the crew to do all of this work while he's literally killing them and doing tons of terrible like things.
Yep.
And instead of uniting and like heading immediately to shore, like why did they not, whatever.
Immediately to shore or realizing that he only attacks at night and killing him during the day.
They should be burning the ship in southern France by like afternoon, right? Anyway.
Yes.
But like instead of doing all of those things, they just continue to sexually traffic a Dracula across country lines. They're basically the flight crew on the Lolita Express now that I think about it. And I hate it. I hate everything about it. I wish I hadn't said that. Let's just move on. But if you look at the metaphor, like a capitalism metaphor, like the Demeter is like society of capitalism and we're stuck in it.
I mean,
and it's like instead of doing what is best for them, the middle class just continues to like work, man, instead of like trying to actually kill the people who are killing them. I don't mean that literally, but you know what I'm saying.
No. But I mean, the whole thing of like, hey, they find the girl and they're like, we should go to port immediately. And they're like, we don't want to lose the bonus, right? And nobody's died by that point.
No, I mean, it is just a stowaway. And I mean, not for nothing, but that stowaway probably wants to go to London. That's why they stowed away, So like, I would assume that like they'd be fine if they didn't just get dropped off at the random port, the next port or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
That's how you end up at Disney's Castaway Key.
Yay. I don't think they meant for that to be there, but that makes more sense.
I don't think they meant for it to be there either, and I don't like that I said it, but I did see it watching the movie.
That makes more sense than the thing that I think they wanted to be there, which is bonkers.
Well, the metaphor that they actually, I think, wanted you to see is so, like, clunky. It is that one scene of him saying he's from Cambridge and he's a doctor but doesn't know his way around a ship all that well because it's been a while, and then no one does anything to other him really until...
Except for that one guy.
Yes, there is that one guy.
After the woman is on the ship, like... Until the stowaway, everyone treats him pretty normal.
Yeah. And then he has to tell you what the metaphor is at the end. And so it's just so clunkily done. And I think this one is way understated, but it's definitely on the screen. And I don't think they meant for it to be.
Right.
Because the way they handled the other one was so overt. So like, I don't think they intended this.
And by handled, do you just mean that he said out loud?
Yes, that's what I mean.
A thing that we had already assumed?
Yes. Yeah, well, things that you could have inferred, maybe, because I don't think they've done enough to lay the groundwork for you to like really, I think I see what they're doing here with like, he's Dracula's foil because he is also othered.
Right.
But you can be othered and be good in society, which now that I'm saying that, I also hate that I'm saying that because it sounds like I'm saying like, hey, just because we treat you like shit, you should be a good citizen. And like, I hate that. Like, feel free to like yell at me in the comments because I agree with you.
I also struggle with that being a metaphor in this movie because Dracula is not just othered. Dracula has been murdering people for centuries.
I know. I agree.
Like it's not equal at all.
I agree.
Right?
I agree, Paige.
And I feel like if you want him to vocalize that part of his backstory that we have definitely already inferred, but if you want him to vocalize it, I have no problem with that. It should have been after he saves that girl the blood transfusion, and the captain or somebody should have been like, you're extremely talented. Why are you on this boat?
Yeah.
And he could have just in a sentence been like, hey, I went to Cambridge. I was educated, but then no one would hire me because of my skin. And then they probably would have been like, well, we're thankful to have you.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and they would have been because he knows some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all the scene would have been. Now, does that fix anything in the movie? No. The movie is still so bonkers bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it is just a jump scare factory that jump scared me. But because like Paige, the thing that drove me crazy is the night that the dogs and like the dog and the livestock all die.
Yeah.
Like I'd crank that wheel 90 degrees to the right and we would floor it until we grounded in Marseille and watched the boat burn. Like I can't believe they continue their journey this entire time. The fact that they end up in London when he attacks them the first night, I'm not sure you'd get out of the Black Sea. Like I would be out of there immediately.
he doesn't attack them the first night. Or rather, he doesn't attack any people until they find the stowaway.
Right, but it's like just the animals. But that all happens in one night.
No, that's like 2 or 3 nights later, and then they're at sea for a while.
Oh, I know, but all the animals die in the same night is what I'm saying. Like that.
Yes.
That's a big event for you to be like, we're good. Like we're fine, right?
I understand excusing that one because their explanation at the time is that the dog was rabid and attacked everybody. Once the dog is dead, like, and that's the thing is like, he examines the dog later and is like, that doesn't make sense, but he doesn't bring it up that night. But I would fully buy in, wooden ship ass times that like everyone caught something or one animal attacked multiple animals. We got to get rid of all of them. Now that means they have like no food, and that would make me go to shore.
Right.
But I wouldn't immediately assume Dracula was on board or anything like that.
I wouldn't assume Dracula was on board either. I would assume I was on the boat with a sociopath who just wanted to kill animals.
That could be.
And that is enough for me to be like, no, I'm not going to stay in this like Agatha Christie murder novel. I'm literally leaving. We're going to turn the boat to the right and we're going to end up where Sarah and Mary ended up in southern France.
Right.
But Paige.
Yes.
I bet Dracula hated his voyage on the Demeter. And here's why, Paige. I also hate getting hair in my mouth while I'm eating, and there were a lot of beards on that boat.
So many beards that all looked the same. So many people in costumes that are almost identical that you lose count of who's on the boat to the point where you're like, are there more white bearded guys to kill or did we get all of them?
Paige, it really sounds right now like you are taking Dracula's stance of, I don't know, man, you all look the same to me.
Well, okay. Perhaps is it because it's so fucking dark?
It is very
you
dark.
Can't tell them apart?
Yes, it is very dark.
Can I tell you an embarrassing confession about me watching this movie?
These are Paige's confessions.
These are my confessions about watching the movie while I was watching it in my own home. Okay, so it's super dark. So dark. And at one point I was like, ooh, Dracula's eyes. And then like the next time a scene came up that was dark, I was like, ooh, Dracula's eyes are in the same spot. And then again, I was like, there is something on my computer screen. We have not seen Dracula yet.
I thought you were talking about the scene where the guy's in the crow's nest and he's like looking down the periscope or whatever and you see it. Because that did scare me. But you were like, oh, Dracula's eyes. Ooh, Dracula's painting? Like, why is it in the exact same spot?
So on my screen was some sort of food or something. I don't know, but it was like 2 specks close together. And anytime they were in a dark room, I was like, Dracula's in there. He's not. He's not. There was just something on my screen, which means it's even less scary than I thought it was. Because I was like, so he wasn't there. It's just dark.
I love, Paige, that you were like, I don't know what you're going to give it, and we can hold our scores to the end, but you got some real, this movie was a 1 energy from me.
Yes.
And I am like the opposite. This movie scared the shit out of me at points. Although it wasn't a ton. It wasn't like as bad as Hereditary, because that scared me a ton and like messed with me emotionally because of like trauma in my past. And I've never been on a boat with a vampire, so like I really couldn't empathize with these people. But I did.
I don't know.
I did.
I do think if you structured this like Aliens, it would be a better movie, but go on.
I think largely this is just a slasher, which I then sort of forgive the stupidness that they go through because that is kind of a slasher trope. And also, like, the one fix for it for me would be Anne is not from the village that knows Dracula specifically.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
if she was just some random lady they picked up in the town where the boat was, and they were like, you're his blood lady,
Right.
good luck, or whatever, and she had no idea, like, that would make more sense that they wouldn't know how to kill this thing. But she specifically should have been taught as a child how to kill this thing because it's a part of their life,
Yes. Here's my fix for it, because I agree with you. That is a huge problem.
It's a huge problem for me, yeah.
To the point where he's like, do you know how to kill this thing? And she's like, no, I have no idea how to kill this thing. And she's just loading a gun, which we know is going to do fucking nothing.
I mean, it might upset Dracula a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's my fix. She's still from the village, but she doesn't wake up until much later. And they aren't all killed in the same way, so we don't immediately know it's Dracula.
Right.
And shave 30 minutes off this movie, or 20 minutes at least.
Sure, you could.
Make it a tight 90, take 2 of the deaths out. And again, we still culturally know, but if you do everything I just suggested, where they're killing people slowly, and is it a plague where people are getting sick and they're not immediately dying? People are having nightmares because he's attacking them at night, but he's not just outright murdering them. Because the second people are getting like their throats ripped out by something on board, you're right. They would do, now granted at that point, they're like, we're too far out at sea, there's nothing we could do, but they don't act. And they just are like, I guess night comes and we're worried. Like, it has to be more gradual and more nuanced than that. And then when she wakes up, I need her to be like Annie in Sinners of like, here's what we need to fucking do.
Yeah.
And them trying to kill it during the day and they can't for some reason. And then they have to survive one last night with that thing until morning.
He's just like munching on aloe plants.
Yeah.
And then he goes outside and he's fine for a few minutes and he can hide.
He gets up and it's Steven Dorff and you're like, man.
Paige, holy shit.
Or Lestat.
I can't believe you just said Steven Dorff.
Yeah.
I was at the Darkness show in Nashville last night.
Yes.
And Steven Dorff came out on stage with them.
What?
Yes.
Did they have a blood orgy?
No.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
At least not on stage. Maybe afterwards. I don't know.
Maybe.
And like they seemed like they were friends. Like he was hugging all of the members of the band and stuff. And I get it. I would hug every member of the Darkness too.
Sure.
I posted something in my stories and it showed their bass player has just like the most British John C. Reilly vibe. And I love it. And I think I made a post that like made it look like I was making fun of him, but I like genuinely think he's awesome. Anyway, look up the Darkness and then find their bass player. You'll recognize him. He's the one with the afro.
I saw your post and I was like, that is what that guy looks like.
He do be looking like that. Yeah. But he's so funny on stage. Anyway, they're all really great. But he came out and like did a dramatic reading during one of the songs.
Was it from Blade?
No, it was a Darkness song and he just did a dramatic reading as they elongated some sections of it and he just read over it. But he was doing this dramatic reading of a very fun sort of silly thing and it was awesome. It was really fun.
All right.
Anyway, it was just wild that you brought up Steven Dorff and I literally hung out with him last night at the Darkness show. And by hung out,
We're friends now.
And by hung out, I mean stood in the audience and was very impressed by their skill and talent.
Yes, sure.
Anyway, Paige, maybe we should just get into this movie scene by dark scene.
Sure. It's from that book, Dracula, yada, yada, yada. One guy survives.
It's chapter 7. It's the one with the captain's log narrative device that Gene stole for Star Trek very successfully.
Yes.
Captain's log, star date, Demeter, or whatever. Just like, I want to see this in space. I do. Someone get me Jason and Dracula in space to battle it out.
Look.
Because Paige, in space, it's always night.
Oh, well, hey.
Guys, how did I just come up with a tagline to Paige and I's Dracula in space in the Star Trek universe movie? I'm cutting this out, Paige. We're doing this. Babe, cut this out.
I was like,
I'm going to write this. Fuck.
When I first heard it, I was like, you dumb mother. Wait a second.
I know. It was the tagline that got you. This is why I'm in marketing, Paige.
Because he could be awake the whole time.
Because in space, Dracula never has to sleep, Paige.
The sun never rises because he's in fucking space.
He's unstoppable in space. He's the opposite of Superman. He needs the opposite of a yellow sun.
He needs needs the opposite of a yellow sun.
Anyway,
Good.
I want this.
Has anyone tried this? This has to be somebody. We cannot be the first.
How did we get a horny Gary Oldman Dracula and not a Dracula in space? I would take a horny Gary Oldman in space Dracula for sure.
Oh.
And think of Event Horizon with finished effects and Dracula. Like, that's what I want.
Ooh.
Paige.
I'm so sorry to tell you this.
Paige, parallel thinking. Don't sue me. I did not know if you made this already. I'm sorry.
I want you to guess.
Your Honor, I take the Dennis of the Menace defense.
I want you to guess what this movie is called. Now, I'll give you some tips. It's a German and South African movie that was wide released, I guess, because it is listed among a bunch of stuff. It came out in 2004.
I feel like this is going to make it easier for us to do it because it's been since 2004 and it was an international film. So like there's a long track record of Americans of mediocre talent buying great foreign films and turning them into very mediocre American movies. So like, listen, there's definitely a lane for us, Paige. We got this.
Possibly. It has 2.1 stars on IMDb.
Okay, so maybe it's not a critical success or whatever, but like I'm sure it's beloved. I don't know.
Guess the title.
Das Drac? I don't know. You said German.
That would be great.
I have no idea.
The title is in English. Like, I don't think it is in German or South African, other than it is a type of adaptation of Dracula, but in space.
I'm never going to guess it, Paige.
It's Dracula 3000.
What? No. It is Dracula 3000?
Dracula 3000. A spaceship cruising through the galaxy encounters a mysterious cargo ship apparently adrift in space. So basically the space Demeter. And they bring it aboard and it turns out to be Dracula.
Listen, I'm not even mad that someone beat us to it, Paige. I am glad it exists and that we can consume it.
Of course.
And also, let's punch that up. Let's talk. I'm going to email Steven at stevenspielgs.com and see if we get, whatever the address was, and see if I can get this greenlit for us. But Paige, we've really got to get into this movie scene by scene. We are dragging our feet on it.
We do, but I hate that now I'm inspired and I'm like, I could write the fuck out of a Dracula space movie.
Paige, I had an idea for a horror fiction podcast 2 years ago that it's still bouncing around in my brain. And it's killing me not to get it on the page. So I understand what you're going through.
Oof.
But I get 50%.
Yes.
Let's get into this movie scene by scene.
Yes. We open on title cards that basically give us the information from the book in case you have not read Dracula, which, by the way, read Dracula. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Bram Stoker, great. Let me read it because I wrote it down.
Mm-hmm.
In 1987, a Russian schooner was chartered to carry private cargo consisting of 50 wooden crates from Romania to England. When the ship arrived, it was derelict. The name of the vessel was the Demeter, and this is the story of its crew, based on the captain's log from the novel Dracula. Also, I know it's derelict and not derelict, but I've seen Zoolander more than once, so I can't say it correctly anymore. But don't email me.
I was going to say something, and I was like, for the Zoolander of it, I will not.
Yeah. I saw Paige look up. She was like, I'll allow it. But let's get into it, because they're in Whitby, England, Paige. This is when the Demeter washes ashore, and we get, like, the crew all, like, not the crew, sorry, like the dock, like staff, more or less.
Right.
Like I guess probably the Navy at this point, I would assume, that like monitor the docks and work the docks.
Or a holding company.
Shoremen, I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, it is just like a bunch of dudes just like doing their job and a ghost ship rolls up on them, so they're freaked out. One guy's like sitting down and he's like, I can't go on there again. I cannot.
Oh, yeah.
And I would not either. I get it. Like, if I was a barista at Starbucks and there was a vampire in the bathroom and it was my job to go clean it, I would quit. I'd be like, nope, I don't work here anymore. This is no longer my problem. I'm out. Like, I got it. I would quit too.
Let me tell you this. If I worked at Starbucks and there was a person in the bathroom claiming to be a vampire, real or imaginary, I ain't cleaning it.
I am out.
Like,
yeah.
I am out.
Because at best, that's blood on the wall.
At best. At best, it's blood on the wall. At worst, strawberry puree, and that's a bitch to get out.
That Prince song is great, though. Strawberry puree.
The kind you find in your Starbucks cup.
I warned Paige last night that I went and saw The Darkness live and there would be parodies, and I was sorry. I just thought that there would be more darkness and less Prince, but here we are. Prince of Darkness. Oh my God, we're doing Dracula. Guys, we have to move on. My brain is overactive right now.
We do. And Todd, I do have to remind you that aside from you, everyone only knows one, maybe two Darkness songs at best.
Guys, if you're sleeping on Darkness's wide, like no joke, 20 studio released album, like discography, you're sleeping on, I would say, 8 good songs.
Yeah.
above the one you know.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But man, they're so good live.
I believe they're incredible live.
Yeah.
I would say, just to get ahead of it as we're getting into the movie, Demeter is the Greek goddess of agriculture, harvest, and fertility.
Noise.
The name of the ship has no greater meaning in the story. In fact, even in Dracula, it doesn't. That's just what the ship happens to be named. And so they have to keep it because that's what it's named in the book. But it doesn't actually have any metaphorical bearing.
I mean, I would say at this point, it serves the same purpose that like a metaphorical Greek whatever would, because the Demeter is in the zeitgeist. Like, I knew what the Demeter was before I watched horror movies, like before we started the podcast. So yeah, I think it's there just because it's like, this is that story. I mean, and the opening like title cards literally say, hey guys, we legally had to give Bram Stoker a writing credit because this is exactly chapter 7 of his book. Like, it's like very much that.
I have to stop you because you've done it twice. It's Stoker. Bram Stoker.
I know, but it's fun to say Stroker, right?
Okay, as long as you know and you're just having fun.
Did you not watch Gary Oldman in the role of a lifetime as he played Bram Stoker's Dracula?
That one's definitely Bram Stoker.
That's where it started. That's why I keep doing it.
I don't even remember it starting there, so thank you. But I was like, I have to tell him because otherwise he'll get a million emails.
So that is essentially why I preference the I know it's not derelict. Because I do get a lot of like DMs on Instagram like, hey, I think you say this word weird. And I'm like, yeah, you just haven't listened to that episode where it started. And I'm sorry. I carry bits like for long times and I'm sorry.
I couldn't remember if you were just mispronouncing it when we originally did the horny Gary Oldman Dracula and we thought it was funny and kept it.
It probably started there. I am not very good at pronunciations.
There you go. Anyway, this movie starts the same way Vampire in Brooklyn starts.
Yes.
Ahoy, motherfucker! Like, ship crash. There's no one alive on it. The guy who goes to investigate it, it's like, oh my God, it's a horror show in there. But he's got the captain's log. And the captain's log reads full on badass, where it basically is like, this log is a record and a warning. If it finds you, God help you. He has abandoned the Demeter. We tried to stop him, and if we didn't succeed, God have mercy on your souls. What a banger. Thank you, Bram Stoker.
Paige, I now have to pause you to tell you a story about a time I stayed in an Airbnb with a guest book.
Oh my God.
So,
is this the Airbnb story you were supposed to tell me forever ago and forgot to, and we've never unearthed it until now?
Probably.
Possibly. All right.
Who knows, Paige? I don't remember things, but I remember this. We all stayed, it was like for my mom's 60th birthday or something. This is years ago. And we all stayed in the same place. And we had just watched like Lord of the Rings. And you know when they're in the mines of Moria and they're reading what happened and they're like, the scroll is like, oh my God, they're coming.
Yes.
We wrote 4 pages of like a post-apocalyptic zombie drama in like update posts. And it ended with just one of us in the bathroom. Like, I'm holed up in the bathroom. My family is dead. ... They're coming.
Amazing.
And then my sibling Sam put ketchup on their hand and like hit the side of the book.
Like a bloody
so
handprint.
It looked like it was bloody. Paige, I guarantee you they threw that book out. Like they had to have thrown that guest book out.
100%. 100. No, nobody has that much whimsy.
Anyway, but that is what this captain's log reads like. It is like the scariest thing imaginable. And now it's your problem.
And now it's your problem. Enjoy. Also, there's like blood everywhere.
Yeah.
On the sails, which we will see a lot of that blood get
placed.
Kind of like when we did that Thing prequel and you walk through where all of the people died that they eventually see in the Thing.
Yeah.
Except it's not as cool as that.
Yeah.
Anyway, flashback, Varna, Bulgaria, the 6th of July. So this movie takes place over 1 month.
Right. Which means they've been at sea for 30 days too long.
Yes.
Or like the first night anybody dies.
Or like at least like 3 weeks too long. I think it takes a little longer.
Whenever the first attack happens, that's when you that morning you turn towards the right.
Right. But they arrive in port a few hands short, so they have to hire people. So they go to wherever they're hiring sailors. I'm realizing I'm about to reference a movie we haven't done on the show, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme's Hard Target.
Oh, you mean Jean-Claude Van Damme's Hard Target?
Yeah, exactly. Sean Stroker. And
I can't talk for shit.
At almost like this is the place to stand if you want to get hired on boats.
That's why I called this the Romanian Lowe's.
Yes,
it is very much that. Yeah.
Yep. It's like day laborers, but for boats.
Yes. Which they did have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There were places you would go to be like, hey, I'm looking to be a seaman.
Oh.
I honestly didn't even hear it until I said it, and that's why I giggled afterwards. I was like, fuck, I gotta stop.
That's how a lot of, if you weren't already a part of a crew, or if your ship had been scuttled, your crew had been disbanded, this is how you would join another crew and travel to the next place, etc.
Yeah.
Especially if you were like a migrant sailor, where you just kind of go place to place wherever the boat takes you.
Yeah, and we find out later that Clemens has been sort of royally fucked, and by that I mean they didn't realize he was black. And the royal, navy of whatever.
Romania, yes.
I think it was actually the king, not their navy, was like, hey, we want you to be our doctor in this royal position. And then when he got there, they were like, oh, no, sorry, we didn't realize. And they didn't, pay to send him home.
No.
So he needed to, find a way to get home. This is a really smart way for a guy in that situation to get home and make a little bit of money in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do find out that the Demeter is carrying private cargo, and whoever has ordered them to take that private cargo is paying extra for it to be there on time.
Yeah.
So everyone who joins will get a bonus, and it's paid in gold, not paid in essentially indentured servitude or any of the other number of ways you could have potentially been a sailor at this time.
Yeah. But it's just like this old rich white guy trafficking himself and this girl.
Yes. Which every time I'm like, that's not in the book. And I'm like, well, it's only one chapter and a handful of captain's logs. Really not enough to make a whole movie out of. So yeah, I get it. But yeah, he is just shipping himself with snacks.
Uh-huh.
It's the fantasy every child has of being put into a crate with snacks and shipped somewhere the way George of the Jungle was.
Do you know in Home Alone 2 when Kevin McAllister gets in the back of the limo with a cheese pizza?
Yes.
This is Dracula's version of that.
100%. Exactly. No notes. And he's even in the other crates, it's just cans of paint for the wet bandits. But the crates all make their way to port.
Yeah.
And that's why this crew is hiring.
Basketball game? Crushed it. And the day's just getting started. Now, kicking it with my crew. When I need a quick snack, Go-Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend with electrolytes pouches are always in the starting lineup. Made with real fruit and select electrolytes. And so tasty. From workouts to hangouts to whatever's next, I go with Go-Go Squeeze Active. Snag yours on your next store run. Available on Amazon.
Now, we meet Voynich, who is David Dalsmachian, who does a great job in this. I wish they gave him more to do. He's one of the few characters that you kind of get backstory on and understand his role within the ship. He's the first mate.
Yeah.
And he essentially stands to inherit the ship after this voyage. It's also implied that he has lived on that ship for years. He basically is like, this ship is my home.
I kind of got the vibe that he was the captain's long-term first mate.
Yes.
And that's why when the captain does the horror movie equivalent of coughing into a white handkerchief and showing blood by saying, I'm retiring after this.
Right. I'm retiring and taking Toby to run out in the fields in a farm where he could run forever.
We're going to go to a farm upstate Ireland, which honestly would be a great retirement, and I'm sad they miss out on it. But when you say that kind of shit in a horror movie, you are dying. And that's all I'm saying.
Going to die.
Yeah.
I also think this movie thinks it's hardcore for killing a kid, but we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, you mean when he like grabs him and snapples him up?
Yeah, he treats that boy like a Capri Sun.
He does. I say snapples him up because it's like he popped the top on him and just drank him down.
Yeah.
He was like reading it like, oh, stay hydrated. Thanks, Snapple. I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Snapple.
Oh, the human body has 7 gallons of blood. Feels like 6. Like, something. Anyway, they hire 3 people. They don't hire Mr. Clement, who is the doctor, in part because, and he's like, I could be your doctor on board. Like, I have skills that you might need at sea. I'm maybe not as experienced as a sailor, but I have other skills. And they're like, we just need sailors.
Yeah. Which to me, like, this is going to sound insane, but I really do wish for the metaphor he had not said it's been a long time since I've been on a boat and,
Right.
So I'm not great at that, because it gives the first mate a reason to not hire him that is not solely because of his skin color.
Right.
Which would serve the othering metaphor, because here it seems we only see it once, not many people care about that.
Right. Which I don't think is accurate for the time. I think a lot more people would care, even though, because this is post-Civil War in America, and the UK had made changes to their laws around slavery and a number of things even before that, but that does not mean that those people who had previously been under that system were treated as equally. They were not.
Yeah.
There was still widespread racism and inequality, and the movie, I think, talks about him being the recipient of that, but we don't see a lot of it on screen. Not that I want to, but at the same time, it's like, if they want that to be a part of the story, I feel like they needed to actually
show it,
represent that.
Yeah.
And they really don't.
They show it one time with that one interaction.
Yeah.
And he tells us about it twice.
Right.
And it's going to be more effective if you show it to us 3 times than have the character tell us twice and see it once. So like it's a bad note, but my note would be, this guy needs to be actually racist to serve the metaphor. But he's not really.
But he's not. Well, or it needs to be present in the situations in which it would be present. Right?
Yes.
So in this situation, in this scene, it would absolutely be present. Other people would treat him bad. They as a crew would probably treat him bad. That's something where we would see it, and we're not seeing it because he does have the other reason not to hire him, right?
Right.
Then I think the one that they do show is where we would see it, because the second anything starts to go wrong on the boat, he is the other. They blame him immediately.
Yep.
That is why. But again, it's only one crew member. A bunch of other people come to his
defense
side and are like, he's not the problem. And so it muddies the waters if that's what you're trying to show. That's why I don't think I think even that is unintentional, because they bungle it so bad to like try and make a metaphor out of it.
I agree.
Anyway, they don't hire him. They hire people that look like sailors. In fact, now here's the thing, and I do think if they're trying to land that metaphor, maybe they thought they were demonstrating it in this scene, because one of the guys he hires has a former injury that is very visible, and he says, I'm strong, and people laugh at him, but he is one of the ones that they hire. So it's almost this implication of they took someone who seems like physically would not meet the needs of the job over someone who is uniquely qualified with different skills.
Yeah.
And seems young and able-bodied. And so maybe that's what they were trying to do. They don't do it well.
Yeah.
Anyway, that guy that they originally hire goes to the ship. They're starting to unload the boxes. However, the crew that brought the boxes to the dock is like, we ain't touching that shit. Good luck, y'all.
Which is crazy, right? Like, they have to be in on it, or there's no reason for them not to kill Dracula.
Right.
And so for them to be like, no, we're too scared to help you, they have to be in league with Dracula, or there's no way that makes sense at all.
Right.
Because it's indicated that they know what a Dracula is and they're scared of it. So, like, they would just kill it and then be done.
Todd, it makes no sense either way, because even if they don't know how to kill it and they've brought him there out of fear, right? And he's been killing one of them every night or whatever as they like drive it. Wouldn't you want to get it on the boat and be like, bye-bye?
Yeah.
Our problem's now gone.
100%.
Back to the village. Like that, you would just load it on the boat because now your problem's gone. And I guess maybe it's guilt, but it's like, if you don't load it on the boat, then your problem's not gone. So you are still like, there's no logical reason for them to not want to load it on the boat. Now, the guy that they hired on the dock not wanting to take the voyage after he sees the crates.
Oh, 100% makes sense.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's the only beat you need for them to be concerned about it.
It is the only beat you need. And it puts Toby in danger because him seeing that like causes one of the crates to kind of fall and Toby almost falls. But this is when, the doctor comes over and like grabs Toby and saves his life.
Right.
But he's not hired for saving his life, not until...
He's hired because the other guy quits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the other guy is like, no, that's the dragon seal. So I know what that is and I'm out because y'all are dead. So I'm out. And yeah, he can pick up another boat tomorrow.
Right?
Yeah.
And at no point is he like, does he give them any parting advice or anything about the dragon seal? He's like, good luck. I hope you all live.
Yeah.
Like, somebody, it's daytime. Dracula can't do any fucking thing about it. Somebody should just be like, keep wooden stakes and garlic close. And then people could have been like, vampires. Fuck? Idiot. And then load the crates, right? Like,
I do like the dragon allegory to vampires, and that may be one that's like commonly connected.
It's in the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, but I like that because they often are very, very rich, like, and they use people, and like dragons are also like they hoard wealth and stuff. And I don't know. I really like the mirrored imagery there.
It's all the way back to, it's in the book because Dracula is literally like Dragul, like he's the Count Dragon.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It is the dragon line. It has been in all the books.
I do remember that from one of the campier Dracula movies.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if that was like real or not.
No, that's very real. That's real.
Okay. But they're like the perfect stand-in for billionaires, if that makes sense. Like they hoard wealth and then use people.
It is. I think that's unintentional.
I know, but I think it works, and it works for this like the time period we're in really well, I think.
Well, and again, that is in the original Bram Stoker. I don't think that's why.
I mean, they did have royalty and the wealthy, and so
they did, but the book does not comment on that much.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing that is in the book is because Dracula is, and she kind of references this when she talks about it, there's a castle on the hill that's older than any of us remember. And kind of this idea of like the monster that lives on the hill in the castle.
Yeah.
Much like a dragon, right? And so like that kind of gets looped in, although they don't go much into the like dragon hoarding wealth part of it, which is a little more Tolkien-esque.
They don't even do that in this movie. So yeah.
They don't even do it in this one.
Yeah.
So I think it's much more of this idea of the monster on the hill, and within like fairy tales or older myths, that would be a dragon. And I think that's probably why the name, or he pulled it from myths at the time from the area.
Yeah, I mean, dragons have been a thing forever. I mean, yeah, but yeah, I don't know exactly why it's there, but I think it works for like the stand-in for like the ultra wealthy,
sure,
which like Dracula would have been, because like you get to benefit from the generational wealth you create,
right? Because it's you.
It's like playing Crusader Kings.
Yes.
Where are my nerds at? It's like that.
That's something that I feel like modern vampire stories do a way better job of than old vampire stories, because Stoker doesn't super address that. He does a little bit. But even within the story, even if Dracula was not an immortal being who had had time to amass wealth, he's already royalty. So like he has it, right? So like he would be as rich either way.
Yeah.
In modern vampire stories where you're dealing with vampires that are not members of royalty, but do live a long time and therefore build their wealth over their own lifetime, that creates opportunities for really interesting modern stories about it.
Yeah, it does.
True Blood does it really well, where in some cases they show the different industries vampires have been in over time, which I find very funny. Interview with the Vampire also does this very well, of like, what are the different things Lestat has been interested in? But at the same time, there's also this element of, is Lestat building generational wealth, or do they just keep killing rich people in houses and nobody notices? So it's also a little bit of that bones and all of like, we just move into your house because we killed you and now your wealth is our wealth. That's interesting too. But the original Bram Stoker's Dracula does not really address it at all. It's much more a morality tale around seduction, I would say.
It definitely is. If you look at the Dracula that Gary Oldman was in.
Just in general, vampires are almost always about excess and promiscuity.
I still think that kind of works with the billionaire metaphor, but we can move on.
And when they were originally written, it was for the sexual excess that the time was railing against. So it's like vampires usually exist in times of harsh conservative backlash socially because they represent the allure of what could be.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Anyway, kid almost dies because the crate falls. But luckily, that guy quit and he saved the kid. So they're like, well, you're already at the dock, so get on the boat.
That guy in 6 months when he hears about what happened was like, called it.
Called it. Saw the mark on the box.
Yeah.
Called it. He was right.
Yeah, 100%.
He was right. Did he give them any tips to battle it? No.
That's not his job.
Anyway, but at this point, in my notes, I just have, so we already know that everyone dies because they don't find anyone on the ship. Now, I also assumed somebody was going to escape on a lifeboat, right? Because it's a movie.
Yes, exactly. So it becomes who's going to survive. And you're like, oh, it's going to be Clemens because we saw him earlier. He he does the refusal of the call. That's It's a part of every hero's journey, even though it wasn't him that refused it. It was the first mate that refused it and hiring him.
Right.
But then he gets on through unselfish circumstances, right? He saved somebody to get on the boat.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, it's going to be him. And the second I saw Anne, I was like, oh, damn, Clemens might die, guys. Clemens might die.
Right? You're like, oh, no.
I really do think the movie does a decent job of which one of them will survive. I figured it was going to be one of them.
Right.
Especially once Toby dies.
Right.
So, yeah, I was really like, oh, who's going to survive?
Yeah, once Toby dies, because I had money on Toby because I was like, are they going to try and shock value kill a kid or are they going to let the kid live?
No. Or
is Anna going to live and he's going to give everything to save her because he's a doctor, do no harm. That is going to propel him to sacrifice everything to save her. Is that going to happen, right? Or is it going to be him because he's our entry point? He's who we've been following, right?
He's our quote in for the story.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyone gets on the boat. We do get a ship tour from Toby where we meet Huckleberry the dog. Very cute.
I'm so sad that Huckleberry dies, but when I saw that dog, I was like, I know for a fact this guy did the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, yeah.
So that dog's definitely going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, and I don't mean that like this guy's bad. I think that movie's really good, but I think he's not afraid to do scary, weird stuff on screen, is all I'm saying.
Sure. I have not seen Autopsy of Jane Doe. That's one of the few that came up in potentially rewatches that we just haven't gotten to.
If you could get out of seeing Brian Cox as the guy from Succession, you'll like it, I think.
Okay. All right.
Because he's an amazing actor and he's a very different character, but yeah.
I mean, my favorite Brian Cox role is X2, where he's Stryker.
That's an interesting pull, but he is great in that role. Yeah. I mean, he's great in everything. Yeah.
Yeah. He's fantastic in that role. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, they leave. The people who dropped off the crates watch them leave and are just like, no. And it's like, well, you did nothing to stop. Your motivations are unclear, people who dropped off the crates.
I know. I hated it, honestly. The second the guy rage quits because he sees the seal, you would have seen me in the background being like, I don't know him, but I'm going to also leave. Because that was the scariest thing I've ever seen with my own human eyes, and I'm leaving now.
Right. I would have also been like, so you want these on the boat, right? We're going to put them on the boat, right? Yeah, they're on? Okay, we're going to go.
Yeah, you're right. I would definitely stay employed until they're loaded.
Right.
And then I would quit.
Right.
I don't want them staying where I'm staying.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm like, because the only answer is that they know at least that there's danger.
Yeah.
Which either means you shouldn't have brought the crates in the first place. You should have killed Dracula along the way.
When he's vulnerable, in a small box during the day.
During the fucking day, like this movie. Anyway, so they watch the ship take off and they're like, single tear.
Bullet dodged.
But as we're going through the ship's tour, meeting the multiple white bearded men who all look and sound alike, they demonstrate a system for alerting people to watch changes and bad things happening on the boat. And that is a knock system. And if you knock on the ship, you can hear it at any point in the ship. Not only is that unrealistic, they apply it completely unequally throughout the movie.
I know.
Where there are times when people are getting killed and bashed against walls and people, other parts of the ship are just like, la la la, like don't hear it. But then the second one person like knock knock knock, everyone
Toby.
hears it.
It's Toby,
It's
who is
Toby,
like a
yeah.
maybe 10-year-old boy slaps the wall.
Right.
People on the top deck can hear it when earlier in the movie Dracula slams someone against the side and everyone's just like, whatever, chilling out.
In that same scene where Toby is trying to knock to alert people, the guy who has been like Dracula-fied is...
I called him a lost boy. I'm so sorry. I called him a lost boy.
Yes.
Yeah, because he looks like he was one of the lost boys when his eyes are all white. Anyway.
Yes. He's like shining his way through a door.
Yeah.
Like, here's Johnny. And no one hears that. And I'm like, is that not great enough? It's a wild plot problem.
Yeah. It's just like it's a rules of the movie problem, really.
Yes.
Because if you hear a kid slapping the side of the ship, you gotta hear someone hacking through a door with an axe, right?
Right? And they hear like, hey, something fell over in the hold. And it's like, okay, so you don't hear Dracula opening his crate every night? Like, what?
It's weird. Every time, every night, like 2 minutes before, like after sundown, we hear this weird like.
Yeah, we keep finding crowbars everywhere. Like,
why is it so quiet at sea, Paige, is what we're saying, I guess. Yeah.
Now, they do show that he's got like a latch so he can like open close, but still, it's like you'd hear him walking around and stuff. Like,
Paige, for a second, I thought Anne was in on it when she knew how to open that.
Right?
From the outside. I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. Although she's not, it seems.
Okay. I mean, what would have been a wild flip, and I was kind of expecting it the entire time, was for her to have been one of his brides and to have been like tricking and luring them the whole movie.
I kind of would love that.
Yes.
Or, Paige, a hotter take, she's just like a mermaid with legs. She's Ariel, because the modern view of mermaids is very different from the mythological view of mermaids.
Yes.
Because they would drag sailors to their death and stuff.
More of like a siren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that would be kind of a cool kind of team up in space, maybe. Paige, think about it. Let's talk later.
Space sirens. Why do they still have fins?
Paige, I demand in our Dracula in Space episode of, I don't know, Doctor Whom, we should have a shot where Dracula has to like spacewalk.
Right.
And instead of putting on a suit, he just turns into a bat and flies across space, because that would be the dumbest thing we could put on film. Wait, he's still wearing the helmet though.
Yeah, of course, a tiny bat helmet. Can I tell you a crazier thought I had while watching this that's very Lord of the Rings coded?
Always.
Once we revealed that Dracula has big flappy wings, I immediately had the thought of, because in Bram Stoker's Dracula, he can kind of change form. He could be a bat, he could be whatever, but it's not really what's depicted in this movie, which is a giant winged beast. But I was like, why didn't he fly? Like, he seemingly can fly so fucking fast. He's got those giant bat wings. Why didn't he just fly at night? Maybe have coffins set up a couple stops along the way that he just like shipped to a place?
Paige, what you're asking for is a Western Europe to Eastern Europe overground network where Draculas can like fly to certain safe points.
Yeah, a Jet 2 holiday. You heard me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what you're asking for is a vampiric Harriet Tubman to set up the overground network for these people.
Sure. But we already know that, like, I mean, I hate that, yes, that is correct. But we know about Renfield, right?
You and I do, yes.
Right. So Dracula, with his assistant, Renfield, instead of sending the guy and then the boat and whatever, it's like, why not pick a couple different places and just be like, hey man, can I ship something to your house? Yeah, cool. The boxes arrive. He sends a letter. He notifies Dracula. Dracula's like, great. Flap, 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 flap. France, flap, 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 flap. England, or whatever it is.
Right? Because you could fly way faster than you could.
Yes.
Well, it seems he can fly way faster. Like he flies as fast as the boat.
Yes.
Because the boat is moving and he's able to like fly from the back of it to the front of it. So if he can't fly at least a little bit faster than the boat is traveling,
right,
he would not be able to do that.
Right. Why didn't they take the Eagles to Mount Doom? You get it.
All I'm picturing now is Renfield riding Batman to Stonehenge, but whatever. We got to move on.
You mean the UK's largest harmonica? Yes, I'm familiar with Stonehenge.
It is just a jail that's far too easy to escape, Paige.
When the wind blows through it, you can hear the haunting notes on the moors.
It sounds a lot like Blues Traveler.
Yeah.
But it's played by Treebeard.
Yeah, exactly. Later, we'll talk about it later at the very end when they're like, stay off the moors at night. I was like, were you trying to set up a werewolf thing? saying,
They were.
fuck y'all.
Yeah.
They were, absolutely.
They're also trying to set up this guy as a vampire hunter, and I kind of wish this movie was better so that we could have gotten that movie.
Right? I'll watch the shit out. That's like the third or fourth, like, people introducing vampire hunters within a story that I'm like, all right, give me their movie, and then we'll never get it.
I know, right? Which I wish we could have got.
I'd watch it.
Especially at the end when he's like got an axe and fighting the Dracula. Like he's like a vampire hunter at that point.
Yeah.
But he's got an axe. And man, can he make that Van Axe sing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what I was about to say of like, do you know how cringe it would be, but how much I would have cackled if at the end he would have been like, and that's why I'm a doctor, Dr. Van Helsing. Like, and just like adjust his hat and is like, and you're like, oh.
Dr. Clemens Van Helsing.
Clemens Van Helsing.
Yeah.
It would have been bonkers. Anyway, we meet everybody on the ship, sort of. We meet the cook, who is very, very superstitious and religious. And then we have, much like Alien, a like sit around the dinner table. What are you doing with your money? What about when you get back to port? Blah, 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 blah. But we don't learn much about anybody except that like one guy is super into sex workers.
Well, his friends tell on him because he doesn't say that.
Right.
But everyone's talking about what they're going to do with their bonus. So we find out that little bit about them, right? And it does sort of reveal, you know, I think this is when the captain brings up retiring and giving the boat to the first mate and Toby and him going to a farm upstate in Ireland or whatever. That's when I wrote, oh, he's definitely dying.
Super dead.
But everyone else reveals like something about them. It's honestly not all that important because nothing comes back to like help or it never becomes a story point again.
Right.
You know,
right.
like I thought that the religious superstitious person would be the person who might know about a Dracula or what a vampire is.
Right.
But that doesn't happen, you know, so like the things they set up don't really matter in this scene.
Right. And that would have been a great time to set up somebody, if we're not going to have Anna know, which makes no sense.
I know.
But if we're not going to have Anna know, then the cook should know. At minimum, to just be like, it's a demon of some sort, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they could then try demon-y things, but like, no.
Right. Has anyone guessed its name? Somebody call Ed and Lorraine. We got to figure this out.
I'm getting something. But we then cut to the first night where they're all asleep and rats are crawling over them, which I could not.
This is the point where Paige would have rage pulled the steering wheel to the right and we would have ended up in Marseille.
Let me tell you this. I have had a lot of experience with rats because when I had my own retail store, it was in 100-year-old building, and 100-year-old buildings got fucking rats, right? And so like, I feel like I am desensitized to rats on a level most people are not. But anything crawling on me while I'm asleep, no. Mm-mm.
I agree completely, Paige. And I have a lot of experience with rats too, because I was an intern at TGRI when they had this like ooze accident.
Right.
And one of the rats got really big and thought like he trained a bunch of turtles how to fight. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Nuts.
But I dealt with that a lot. And he did like to crawl all over me. So like, and I hated it. It was just like the worst. So I get it. I don't like rats crawling on me either. I feel like everyone feels that way more or less.
Especially ones that are into grappling. But like, but the rats all kind of scream and run and take off.
Yeah.
Now, from here, we actually cut to that conversation in the galley of like what to do with your share. So they've been at sea for a full day.
Yeah.
And we hear the dog barking.
Yeah.
And they send Toby down to try and comfort the livestock. All of the livestock is freaking out because the sun is setting. And they say, they're like, well, there's a storm coming.
Oh, there is. It's just not like a atmospheric one. It's a vampiric one.
It's a vampiric one, except it is also an atmospheric one. We're just going to cover their cages like Paris Hilton in that tent so that they go to sleep.
House of Wax was such a prophetic movie. I loved it.
So much. But during that storm, a crate falls over in the hold and it dumps just a pile of dirt onto the floor.
Yeah.
But because they heard it fall, they all go down there, or rather Clemens goes down there to basically see what's happening.
Yeah, see what's up. I mean, it's you're at sea. Like things would probably be falling over occasionally.
Right.
Just because, you know, you're rocking back and forth.
Right. And in the pile of dirt, he finds a woman who appears to be dead, but then is alive.
Yeah.
So they bring her up, they give her a blood transfusion. And at this point, we see Dracula like feel it in the crate downstairs. Now, this blood transfusion thing, I was kind of glad they wrapped it up a little bit at the end of the movie, although not well. In Bram Stoker's Dracula, It's much more like Nosferatu or the horny Gary Oldman Dracula, where Dracula, like Anna, would like feed on people over time, and they would kind of gradually get sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker until they eventually die. And then they might be vampires at that point.
Well, it's because they're not drinking them to the point where they die, right? So your body, if you lose blood, will build more blood. So it's like it's like sucking half a Capri Sun, but knowing by tomorrow that Capri Sun will fill itself up again.
Right.
Yeah.
And this movie treats it much more like a zombie bite, where it's like if you get bit, you turn no matter what. Like you die almost instantly and you turn.
That's interesting. Okay, so I guess my question would then be, if she didn't die because of the way she dies, like if she had survived the voyage and like lived a full long life and died at 80 and wasn't being fed on anymore, just died of natural causes or whatever, would she then come back as like a Judge Judy vampire?
So in theory, because the events of Dracula, the book, lead eventually to Dracula's death, and once he is dead, his hold is broken.
I guess that's true, right? So it wouldn't matter, but yeah, okay.
It wouldn't matter, right? But they don't address that at all.
They don't.
In this, because a functional problem of this movie is they can't kill Dracula because he exists after the movie, right?
Yeah, that would be like, I don't know, doing a prequel where you kill Luke Skywalker. Like, you can't do that because, you know, he's already dead, I guess, because the movies had no plan when they said it. Whatever, I can't talk about it. But, like, you can't do a movie like this where you kill the main character in the movie that starts right after it.
Right. Especially, even though Darth Vader is a vampire, canonically, as we have discussed on this film, you can't do that, even though he'll come back, and maybe that's why.
Strom Broker made it very clear in his book page.
Absolutely. And we would never deviate.
Or say his name wrong.
But they pull this woman up. They give her a blood transfusion. She's alive, but she's not doing great. But here's the thing. They also gave blood transfusions to the other people who got bit. It did not make a difference. And so they argue that he gave her multiple and that's why, but like everyone else turns within a day, basically.
Oh, I thought it was like The Walking Dead where you die and then you turn. So I didn't realize that you had, like, because she was bitten but not drained to the point of death.
Right.
And I figured that's why she stayed human, because she is just like his juice box or whatever, like self-refilling juice box.
That is what would make sense.
Yeah, but I guess if it's not that and you don't have to die to turn, then what is happening?
Because we see so Toby, I think, is a question mark. Did he die and then turn, or was he never dead and turned?
I thought he died because they like put him in the sheet and were going to toss him in the ocean. They were going to like send him to Osama.
Exactly. So he can take care of him. And Osama will take him to a farm where he can run under the ocean.
Oh, God.
But the other guy, the crew member, doesn't die. He just turns.
No, you're right.
And Dracula, like, activates him, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Then the rules are...
They're all over the place.
Yeah, the rules of the movie don't make sense then. And, yeah.
I mean, par for the course.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. There is precedent for Dracula being able to, like, you know, like, wake people into, like, trances, but then people can be awoken from those trances and they go back and they're like, I don't know where I was, you know, or whatever.
Right.
And they wouldn't burn because they're not vampires yet.
Right. This dude was definitely a vampire.
Definitely a vampire, definitely burns. Toby burns, and eventually Anna burns, but Anna had the same set of like symptoms and like bites, never has a problem being in the sun.
Until it becomes like a plot point for her to die.
Right. Now, if you wanted to do the Bride of Dracula version of this, she only comes out at night, and you don't notice that, and like that eventually is the thing.
Which you could do by she's sick and she has to rest.
Right.
So like during the day, she's just like in bed resting or whatever.
Right.
And then she comes out at night to like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit better. It's the cool air or whatever.
Right. But no, she is unconscious. She could have been unconscious for longer and then woken up and told them about garlic and stuff, but that's not what happens. But she's unconscious for now.
But Paige either wants her to be like, I know what a Dracula is, there's one on the boat and we have to kill it, or the other side of that, which is, hey, me and my Dracula saw you from across the Demeter and we loved your vibe. Like where she's just trying to catfish them back to the like where he is so he can kill him.
Yes, sit in this chair so Dracula can watch. But so everyone on the boat is very, very upset. that she is aboard. Now, this is a weird thing where there are superstitions that women are bad luck on boats. That was heavily documented for sailors at the time. However, there were also many women captains and women who were pirates.
Oh, yeah.
And women who
pretended to be men and who were captain and pirated a successful cruise.
And pirated successfully. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, some of them just dressed up. Some of them fully, I would say, accepted their internalized identity and became men. Like so many, every version. But they are all like, woman on the boat, that's a bad idea. But also she's a stowaway. Now we have to account for her in food and rations and everything.
Well, and for the punishment of saving her life, they make the doctor share his rations with her. Like that becomes his like punishment for saving her life, which is crazy because they're all like mad that they have an extra mouth to feed. It's like, it's gross a little bit.
Yes. Now, after they save her, so basically the next day goes by, that next night, the animals get attacked. They find the dead dog.
Yeah.
All the animals are dead. And so it's been probably almost a week at sea by the time this happens because Dracula was just feeding on her.
And the rats, I think.
And the rats and had no need to leave.
So yeah, I think you're right.
Right. Now, at this point, they dump all the animals overboard. That is the right choice because it could have been plague, right?
Oh, it could have been, but they also could have come back as vampire animals, and that sounds scary.
Hear me out. Animal Farm in space. Some space pigs are more equal to other pigs in space.
The metaphor will be even more blatant in space, guys.
So much.
I know.
Because they're like, why are they walking around? Anyway, all the animals are dead. Throw them overboard. And now there's a debate of do we make port or do we keep sailing? And they ask Clement, they're like, if it's rabies, if the dog was rabid and attacked all the animals, which is what at this point they think happened, can humans catch it? And he's like, only from bites. And if no one's been bitten, then no, we probably can't catch it. So if we dispose of all the meat immediately, we should be okay. And it's at this point that one of the crew members is like, are you guys dumb? None of us would do this. It's clearly not rabies. They were attacked. And the only people we don't know on this boat are the girl and the slur.
Yeah.
It's real bad. And Clement immediately is like, say that shit again. Let's fight.
Yeah.
And they get in between and defend Clement. They're like, we know Clements didn't do this, right?
Yeah.
No man did this.
I would have raised my hand and been like, I'm not with that guy, but also we need to go to port because that was our food. I need food we have to go to port. Why is this a discussion at this point? It makes no sense to me.
Right.
I don't even care. Like they have to solve the food problem some way or like it doesn't make sense at all.
Right. Now, and we kind of skipped over this because we were talking about other stuff. There has been a night watch once they found the girl where he saw something in the spyglass, but nobody gets killed. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that scared the crap out of me too because it's like he's out of focus because the spyglass or the whatever it is like looking way in the distance because that's what it's for.
Right.
And Dracula's like real close to him in the crow's nest with him.
Right.
So it like you see his eyes, but it's out of focus. And you're like, oh God, what is happening?
Right. But then Dracula leaves and doesn't hurt anybody. But that crew member is like, no man did this. There's something on board. And I tried to tell you last night. I thought you saw it. I know I've seen it. Something is fucked up.
Yeah.
We cut down into, they've repurposed the tool shed for her to sleep in. And Dracula's still in there drinking from her. So I don't even know why he starts biting other people because they toss the meat over. Toby's really sad about it. It's very sad.
Yeah, it was his dog.
Yeah.
And it was his charge to like take care of the animals. Like he takes his job seriously, which for me, it would be losing all the animals because I like love animals so much. But I also get that like those animals were food and that's the way they were looked at. And so like he's seeing it for more like it was my job to make sure that that was safe and I messed it up. And of course his dog is dead. So that's also really sad. But like it's kind of sweet that he cares that much about his job.
Right. Now, at this point, I guess maybe Dracula figured that Anne would die at some point on board and he would need to feed on other people because I don't know why he starts killing people when he still has her and they're replacing her blood with blood transfusions every day. Seems like she's a never-ending Capri Sun and he could have just stuck with that.
Honestly, Paige, he's getting everyone else's on the boat's blood too, just through transfusions. Like, where's that blood coming from if not from other people?
I think it's Clement, but here's the thing. He he couldn't be doing it all the time. He'd be too weak to work on the boat. So like other people have to be participate, or I don't know, but we do get another couple days where nothing happens, where the Skies are angry and that other crew member confronts Clements and is like, I saw something last night and I feel like you saw it and it's rough weather. And he then talks to the captain and is like, hey, I've been giving her these transfusions, but her condition is unchanged.
Yeah.
So whatever our next port is that we stop at because of the food or whatever, because there's more than 2 weeks for us to travel, just drop me off with her. But Toby is watching her and she's mumbling some English and some Romanian in her sleep. Specifically, she keeps saying the word feed.
I really did think it was funny that he was like, yeah, she's speaking Romani, I guess, and she speaks English sometimes. It was like, oh, I guess she's like Charles V and she speaks Spanish to God, English to sailors, and Romani to vampires, I guess.
Why not?
But yeah,
yes.
Cool. I just didn't understand why she knew English. She lived in Romania and it's 1898.
There's no reason for her to know English. In fact, it's way scarier if she doesn't know English. And when she wakes up, she's muttering and screaming in Romanian. And one of the like crew members from a neighboring country, because remember, we started in Bulgaria, is like, I don't speak a ton of Romani, but the few things I can pick out are this.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like trying to tell them about the like so much easier.
And it would be a way to, it would 100% be the way you would explain away, you know, she does know. She's from the village. She knows. She cannot convey the message.
She does know. She's trying to tell them. She can't communicate it. Yes.
That would be great, honestly.
Yes.
Write that down for the space version.
Yes, exactly. And in space, she'll speak Venusian or something, and we won't be able to translate it, and it'll be fine. But it's at this point that the cook pulls Clements aside and is like, hey, have you noticed there's no rats anymore? And he's like, yeah, that's great. And he's like, no, because here's the thing. Rats, as much as we don't like them, are part of the ecosystem on a boat. There's always going to be some rats. And if there's no rats, why aren't the rats here? It's kind of like when you hear the forest go dead silent and you're like,
oh yeah, it's very scary. Yeah.
Right?
And if the rats aren't on the ship, guys, who's going to make all the rat shit? I don't know what the purpose of a rat is on a boat, Paige.
Hot dogs. Sorry, I went a little Upton Sinclair with it.
But yeah. I would, if I was a sailor, I'd be like, great, the rats are gone at first. And then when they said that, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that probably does mean there's worse things on board. Okay, cool. But at first, you had me with some happiness on the rats are gone part.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I've been sleeping great. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
But we go up to the watch that night, and Abrams is on watch. There's basically a crack in the hold. It's like a trellis, almost kind of a shape over the hold is broken. Like something has like torpedoed out of it. Because I guess that's how Dracula was getting up to the deck.
I assume so. Yeah. I mean, he just like popped through the thing they dropped the cargo down into.
Yeah. You just whack-a-mole up through.
Yeah.
And we're hearing like animal noises. And now Abrams is on watch with the guy who was super racist earlier. So immediately that guy dies first. And we're all like, thank goodness. And they just like slit that guy's throat.
Yeah.
Potovsky is his name. But here's my question. And this is one that maybe we can't answer until we make our Brave Space movie. But this whole ship is wood.
Yes.
And if Dracula is just blasting up through the hold, isn't there a risk that he might take some damage from a wooden stake?
Paige, I did think about that while he was popping up through there, because if like he hits it wrong and a part goes through his heart, he's dead.
Right?
Yeah.
And I do know that like traditional vampire myths, you're like staking someone to the ground so they can't rise out of the grave. Like it's literally holding them down.
That actually kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can like decapitate them. So maybe they're taking that interpretation and they're just like, yeah, splinters ain't shit. But like, I thought about it where I was like, he hits that exit wrong. And
that's what I told my rat friend at my TGRI internship.
Right?
Splinters ain't shit, bro.
Splinters ain't shit. But anyway, this is one sailor down.
I do love Splinter. Please don't come at me. It was just funny.
One sailor down. There's blood everywhere. And immediately people accuse Clement. They're like, you were holding the knife. He's like, yeah, but I'm not covered in blood.
And I do love it. Hugh explains that. He's like, oh yeah, so like I managed to kill him without getting any blood on me, even though it's everywhere. And then I rang the bell to report myself.
Right.
Think, bro.
Think about it.
He's like, have you never listened to a true crime podcast, you idiot? It's like that kind of energy. But the whole crew is like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, he's absolutely right. So like, good for him. But yeah, it's funny.
Good for him. At a certain point, Anna comes out. And at the same time, they're like, yeah, it turns out the dog didn't have, like, it was killed in such a way. Like,
yeah, it's because he has like bites on his neck. Like the dog has bites on his neck. You can't bite your own neck. Try right now. Everyone listening, try and bite your own neck. Paige, stop right now. Stop it.
It's just fun to look at. But at this point, they're like, everything had bite marks. That's why we thought rabies, because of the bites. But then how did the dog give rabies to itself? I don't know.
Yeah.
But at this point, Anna is like, he's here. And they're like, who's here? And she's like, he's here on the ship. He's been all along. I can't help. And he's like, I can't help you if you won't speak to me. And she's like, all right. You're probably wondering how I got here. So Dracula put me in a crate. But essentially her village volunteered to ship her.
Yeah, she got voluntold to be
a snack.
Dracula's juice box. Yeah.
Yeah. I can have a little villager as a treat. They just shipped her with him.
The whole village was like, damn, Anne, you a snack. And she's like, damn, thanks, guys. That's real nice. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Hey, why are you boarding this up?
Oh, you meant literally. Damn it.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is no good for me. My bad.
But that also means that her village knows enough about his proclivities that I'm like, you must have some info, some knowledge. Now, maybe he's the only one and that's why they don't know how to kill him. But like in Dracula, they do other customs, much like in Nosferatu, we see that like the village knows. It's like a whole thing. Anyway, she's like, I don't know anything more about it, but she has all the bite marks.
Right.
But he's here on the ship. And at this point, they know someone else is on the ship.
Yep.
For the rest of the movie, they know.
Yep.
And they still are like, I guess we'll wait till nighttime and see what happens.
I guess we'll wait till he shows up again because we have no idea where he is. He could be anywhere on this closed, confined space that we could search room by room very easily until we found him and killed him as a team.
The fact that they don't search immediately, that they wait a week plus to search is fucking nuts.
I know.
Because also, they found her in a crate. Okay, open the other crates.
You gotta open every other crate at that point. Are there 50 other people in there? Yeah.
Right? No. But we cut to that night. And that one crew member does say to Clemens, like, it's been so bad with her on the boat. At one point, I thought about letting the ocean have her, but then I thought about my daughter, who is also smart and bright and brave. And, I'm sorry that I suggested that.
Yeah.
But as they split up for the watch, they hear the knock. So they both kind of meet in the middle and they're like, did you knock? No. Did you knock? No. Someone else is knocking. And surprise, Dracula is on the boat. And this one guy climbs the rigging and gets killed up there. And then the other guy sees stuff but doesn't get killed. Everyone comes up they knock, everyone comes up, and there's blood dripping down on Toby. So everyone pulls that guy down from the rigging. And no.
Yeah.
They dead.
Yeah.
Super dead. So they tie that guy down to the table. And they're like, he's got the same bites. We've given him a blood transfusion. It must be what she says is true. But like, I don't believe in supernatural stuff, but something on board did this, right? And so they're like, great, we'll put 2 guys on watch and then maybe we'll search the ship.
I love how they wait till night to put 2 dudes on watch.
2 dudes on watch.
And don't search the ship during the day.
It drove me insane.
Yeah.
But he gives Toby the task of shining his spyglass and locks Toby in the captain's quarters. Now, here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Dracula's already in there? Or do you think if Toby had stayed put, nothing bad would have happened to him?
I think he would have died either way. I don't know he would have died this way I don't know if Dracula was in there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I don't think it matters. Like he was always going to die narratively.
Yeah.
But I think they just had to figure out a way to make it happen. And the way it happens is creepy. Like it was scary because you think Dracula's the bad thing and this guy's like sick or whatever because the girl hasn't turned yet either.
Right.
You know? And then when you see it turning, you're like, oh, it's bad. It's a bad thing.
It's bad because Mr. Olgarin, who is the guy who saw it on the thing and then ended up in the rigging, his eyes turn and then he starts wandering the ship. Toby hears him and so he squeezes out through one of the other side doors and is like, hey, you're feeling better. And the guy's like, Nope. Super vampire chases him and then just like bashes his head against the locked door until he breaks through.
That's right. He doesn't use an axe. He uses his head. I forgot. Oh my God.
He uses his head, right? And Toby's like hiding with a crucifix.
It's the scariest thing you could imagine, Paige. Someone foreheading their way into your room through the door.
Right. I feel like the smile one is still scarier.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But anyway, he like reaches down. He's like trying, because he's broken through the door. He's trying to get to the handle. He can't get to it. And then he kind of just gradually withdraws his hands.
Yeah.
So he's not fighting it anymore. And at that point, I think Dracula's in the room. But how did Dracula get in the room?
Magic.
It's a locked room.
Yeah. I mean, he may have already been in that room, though. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
He may have already been in there. Yeah, right?
The whole ruse may have just been to chase him down into that room.
Right. But that's the same room he started it in.
No, I know. But I mean, but Dracula could have got in the room while he was going out of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he does knock while the guy's trying to break through the door with his head. And everyone hears the knock and is like, great, the knock. They rush down there. Apparently they didn't hear the head bashing.
No, they did not.
And here's the one thing that is kind of disturbing or troubling. I didn't find it very scary just because I assumed Dracula was in there, and you do kind of see him like that shot in Signs where he just kind of like walks past the opening in the doorway.
Except it's not an alley in the street. It's just the opening in the hallway thing. Yeah.
Right. The horrifying part of it is that his father, or I believe grandfather, actually, the captain, I think Toby's his grandson, because he promised his daughter he would take him to the farm to run.
Yeah.
They watch as Dracula's just like, you want to see some shit? And just picks up and Capri Suns that kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's nothing.
Just drinks him down.
Right.
Did you know the human body is 77% water, but 100% delicious?
Yeah.
That's what the Snapple top said.
Giraffes can hear for 3 miles. Like, Anyway, they watch in horror, and then they finally get in. Toby, it is too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
He's not dead, but might as well be.
Yeah. Scientifically, he has a less volume of blood than everyone else. And so Dracula drinks him down real quick.
Right. They do a blood transfusion, which keeps him alive, but it remains to be seen what's going to happen to Toby.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they bring that other crew member up to the deck, tie him up, and are trying to interrogate him as if he's like in league with Dracula.
I mean, he kind of is.
He kind of is, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, the sea, the wind, I can see and hear everything. It burns. And then he just immediately catches on fire, which would have absolutely burned down the main mast.
Yeah.
And the ship would have basically been destroyed. They don't try to put him out at all.
No.
They shoot him, but they let him keep burning.
Right. That is arguably the most dangerous thing on the boat at that point.
Right. And at this point, because like Anne is out there watching it, I'm like, why hasn't she burned?
I don't know, but she is out many times during the day.
Yeah.
So unless she's like a blade, how? And we know she isn't because we see her die at the end.
Right.
Exactly this way, honestly. So yeah.
Yes. But at this point, Clemens is super sad because he's like, Toby's gonna die. Because like his body's really small, almost all his blood was gone. The transfusions aren't working. He's got the same symptoms. We may have to double tap Toby if he turns, right?
Yeah.
And no one at this point asks why Anna hasn't turned. No one even considers it.
No, they're just like, she seems fine, right?
Extra man for the watch. But this is where he's like, all right, now 2 days after we should have, we're going to open the crates.
Right.
Get a crowbar. It's time to open the crates. And again, they're opening crates at night.
Yeah.
This drove me nuts.
It's a terrible idea.
They find the crate and he's not in it because it's nighttime, but they're like, this is the one. Now we know where he sleeps. Great. Then we cut to that same night as they're kind of going through the crates. The cook takes a lifeboat and leaves.
Yes.
Great. Gets a decent distance out from the boat. Dracula gets him.
Yeah, because he flies out there. Because Dracula is just a bat. And I'll say this, Paige, I think Dracula in this movie is just a combination of a parrot and a lizard.
Sure.
Because...
So a turtle?
No. Get away from my TGRI internship bit. But Paige, Dracula never speaks.
Right.
It only repeats back words it hears.
Right. Like a parrot.
And it flies. and is scaly and like a lizard.
Yeah. The part that bothered me about this was that
That didn't bother you? I'm sorry. You're okay with that rendering of okay.
Yeah, no, that's just facts.
Because that bothered me. I like Lestat style vampires, and this guy was like a real dumb face.
I like me some Eric Northman style vampires. I get it, right? Like, is it an affront against God? Yes. But is that factual to what we see on the screen? Also, yes.
Fair.
The thing that bothered me, because the guy rings the bell on the lifeboat and gets got. So Dracula had to fly out there, right? Everyone on the boat knows that guy got. They watch it from the deck.
Yeah.
Explain to me why 2 deaths from now, they're like climbed up into the rigging. They're like, we'll shoot him on the deck. And I was like, he can fly. And then he flies and they're like, he can fly. And I'm like, how did you watched it?
Be like, calm down, Wendy. We've known he can fly for a long time. All right.
If we clap hard enough, Dracula will fly.
Think of a vampiric thought, any vampiric thought. Think of biting people's necks.
Think of bats and all the rest. Drink blood in the sky.
You can't die, you can't die, you can fly.
Yes.
I love it.
But yeah, so they like immediately, they learn things about Dracula and immediately forget it because they learn where he sleeps. They see him fly.
This is what it's like to have ADHD, guys. So like they know where he sleeps, never go back to it because they legit forgot.
Right.
They know he flies, 2 days later they forgot he flies.
Right.
I have never felt more seen by semen in a movie.
That is great. I'm glad this semen resonates with you. Let it wash over your eyes and neck and chest.
Oh man, I have definitely been in some sticky situations with semen, and I get it. It's like when they get in one later, I get it. I'm like, man, I've been there.
I get it. So they know, right? So the next day, they're like, hey, why London? What are we doing? And she's like, well, in my village, he doesn't have anyone left to feed on. And they're like, well, why is he killing us one at a time? He could kill all of us. And she's like, no. He needs to ration us so we get to England. Like, we have to one at a time. And this realization, they just sit on for like another day and a half.
Yeah.
But the next day, they go to bury Toby at sea because he has died.
Toby Siegler.
Oh, Toby. No! I hate so much of what you choose to be. At this point, his captain grandfather is going full Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the one remaining white bearded crew member is going full Bill Paxton of like, game over, man. Like, that's who he is.
Yeah.
But the grandfather captain has gone Wilford Brimley from The Thing, where he's like, he's still alive. I know he can still be alive.
He feels, I feel so bad for him because it's like, it's his daughter's kid and his daughter may also be dead, but
I think
worst case scenario, she's alive and waiting for her son and father to come back. And he now knows that he not only may have like led to events that killed his grandson, but now also has to have that conversation with his daughter. Like, I understand why he's like, full in denial about Toby being dead.
Sure.
It's heartbreaking. And the guy who plays the captain grandfather is amazing. He's a great actor. So like he's crushing it. But you feel bad and you're like, no, he's dead.
Yep.
And when he rips the sheet off of him and like you see him open his eyes, but they're like milky white. And then he sits up and like grabs him and then like catches on fire. I was like, oh my God, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
The second he was like, he's alive. And I was like, they're going to unwrap that corpse. It's going to catch on fire and everyone's going to catch on fire. And then that's exactly what happened. I was like, yep.
Called it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's still scary though.
But he survives. He's got burns. Toby's now with Osama.
That's one of Toby's secrets page.
Oh, that's taking it way back. But at this point, this is where they're like, Anna, tell us how to beat it. It is still daytime.
Yeah.
It is still daytime. They know where his crate is. And instead they're like, gear up montage. Let's all grab guns. And she's like, I don't know if guns will kill him, but let's do it.
By the way, this gear up montage is going to take 12 hours because when we come back, it's night.
It's nighttime.
I don't know how long it takes to find a gun on a boat that size.
Probably not long.
It can't be that long. Yeah. It can't be 12 hours.
It took them 3 weeks to find one crate. So who knows?
Fair.
But at this point, they're like, hey, David Dalsmachian, I think we got to sink this boat with him on it. And he's like, this is my home. I don't want to do it. And they like keep talking about it. He's like, no, this is my home. It's got to be me. I'm going to be the one that sinks the boat. Hear me out. There's no need to sink the boat.
No, you're right.
There's no need to sink the boat, especially because he can fucking fly.
Yeah.
So like, and they're close enough to land that he could just fly to land at this point, at any point. the captain's idea of like, you guys leave, you go on a lifeboat, and I will sail further out into the ocean and sacrifice myself because then he can't get in. We'll be too far out to sea. And then, hey, I drift or I sink the boat or whatever. That makes more sense to me.
That's putting a lot of faith in you knowing how exactly far a vampire can fly at night.
Thank you, though. Yes.
So, like, I'm not doing that. No. Like, do they not know how chickens survived Noah's flood? Like, they definitely, like, that's why they don't fly anymore, really. Like, they got so tired during that time, they just refuse now. And honestly, they got a really good union rep, so.
Yeah. But unlike a chicken.
Right.
Dracula's more like, bat, parrot, lizard chicken. But the captain updates the captain's log, and he reveals that he's having visions that if he kills everybody and brings the ship into port, that Dracula will bring Toby back. That he'll go down to Osama and be like, I'll get him back, and then we'll bring him back to life.
Paige, I do love that we have the moment someone realizes that their autobiographical work is going to be an important document.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, I got to get the captain's log. I got to write a bunch of shit down. Like, this is going to be nuts. Yep. We're all dead, by the way, just a heads up. But I got to make a record that survives us.
Right.
We like see him in that scene. And it's
in that scene.
You never see that scene. It's so funny we get it. And I kind of like it.
I do too. But it again is during the day where they know where the crate is and they still have not gone to try and kill him in the crate.
I'd argue that maybe during the day is time you should utilize for hunting and killing vampires and not looking for books because you want to be famous posthumously.
Right? Especially because he's like, I'm connected and Anna's connected. I'm like, okay, so you guys know if he's sleeping, right? Let's go kill him while he's sleeping. Like, what? As night falls, they're within like a day of shore. They can see the shores of England.
Yeah.
And Anna just goes, he knows. And then he like flies around the boat. And this is when they're like, he can fly. And I'm like, you what?
You've seen him fly.
You literally saw him fly.
It's like the people on the boat are in the, medical facility that they go to in that Adam Sandler movie, The 51st Dates.
Oh, yeah. Like 10-Second Tom.
That just have like memory disorders or whatever.
They just don't have it.
Yeah.
Right?
Just like every time they go to sleep, it gets deleted like that Dana Carvey movie.
Right. And essentially, Dracula quickly kills everybody but our main two. He kills that guy in the rigging. He gets David Dastmalchian, who does start to sink the boat. It doesn't matter. We'll never see the boat sink. The boat makes it to England. And then the captain, who lashes himself to the wheel, directing them away from England and out to sea. And he kills the captain. And they manage to untie the captain, but like he's still dying, right?
Yeah.
They get the lifeboat down, but it doesn't matter because Dracula's just going to snatch them out of the lifeboat. And here's something that I put in my notes that I find really fucking bonkers about this movie, because it happens 3 or 4 times where somebody clearly gets got, they die, but then when everyone gets over to their body, they wake up just enough to have last words. And I'm like, this movie wants the surprise of instant death with the dignity of last words.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it's nonsense. So everybody but Anna and Clements are dead. And Clements on the deck is like, I'm not afraid of you. You're flesh and blood just like me.
Yeah.
I have fought things scarier than you, and you'll have to kill me, basically.
Yeah.
And if it's you or me, I'm a fight till I die.
Yeah.
So get fucking ready.
I did wish that, because Dracula does say words here that he does not hear first. When Clement says,
right,
I'm not scared of you, he goes, you will be, or whatever.
You will be.
He should have just been like, I don't care. You're like a cow to me.
Right.
Did you ask the cow if it was scared of you? Whatever. And just killed him.
Look, I know that when Dracula and Bison came to your boat, it was the most important voyage of your life. But for me, it was just a Jet 2 holiday to England, and it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So whatever. Anyway, he traps Anna in a wing and bites her again, but Clements kind of fights her off. She gets the gun. She shoots him. They tie him. They basically trick him into being smashed between. They destroy the main mast and crush him between the two, allowing them to get away as the boat sinks. But then Dracula ultimately flaps away into the night. Should have done it the whole time.
Right.
We see the boat make landfall. we see the beginning stuff.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, still out in the ocean, floating on shipwreck pieces is Clemens and Anna. And Anna's like, spoiler, I'm about to turn into a vampire. I've known for a couple days now, but like, you know.
I'm about to go full vamp, so
yeah.
Nice knowing you.
The plot dictated I tell you this now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to float out away from you and catch on fire. It's the one choice I do get to make, and it means you get to be safe because you can see England. You'll probably get there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was like, maybe her being on fire on the coast sends people out to find him. Who knows?
That would have been great. They're like, hey, I don't know how you started a fire out here, but that was smart. We saw you up from the shore. Yeah.
Pretty dope. Yeah. I didn't see that happen. But what we do cut to is him on land.
Yeah.
And he's basically using the ship's manifest that he has to basically look for Dracula. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, like, the new owner of that land is supposed to be coming, but like it's a couple days by carriage and the moors are dark. So wait till morning. And he's like, sure. But then he hears the knock and it's Dracula's like,
it's his SOS
walking stick.
Yeah.
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 And the cane, it's his cane. And he sees Dracula in the bar and he's like, and Dracula like strokes his neck scar seductively and then poof. And then Clement is like, I'll pursue this foul beast and send it back to hell. And at this point I was like, but no, because we know what happens after this.
Right.
And that's the movie.
And what happens is he's not in it.
He's not in it.
He's not a character. Yeah. So like,
it'd be an interesting story, but that's not the story.
I would just love it if like he just like couldn't get on the grounds of the property. So like outside, like in like the backs of shots during like Gary Oldman's Dracula, you'd see like this guy trying to climb over the fence and struggling and falling or whatever. Anyway, Paige, having seen the movie and we talked about the movie, what did you think about The Last Voyage of the Demeter?
I was pretty disappointed. And I had, to be fair, I had pretty low expectations to begin with because I knew, I was like, I think this has a risk of being predictable because we already kind of know the story to a degree, right? You're going to have to really work to make this unique and interesting. And no, they did not succeed. And a lot of it has just like basic logic problems that like you and I have pointed out.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with it. Like the rules of the movie don't make sense and they're not cohesive.
Yes.
They don't follow the rules they establish even. It's not that there are no rules. They set rules and then don't follow them. So it's like very kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
A little bit. And honestly, it is just scary. And I don't really love just scary movies because they're scary and they scare me.
I mean,
full stop. Oh, I will say this, though. When we're getting his VO at the end of the movie and he's like talking about how now he's seen true evil in the world, he's like not saying that he's talking about Dracula and he's sketching Anna.
Yeah.
So like it's sort of implying that he thinks true evil in the world is women.
Right.
Although I know that's not what they mean, but he should be sketching Dracula there or something when he's having that voiceover, because it really kind of implies that he's listening to too many like manosphere podcasts, you know, like it's like that kind of thing.
I think they're trying to make it a thing of like them having a deeper friendship and relationship than we saw in the movie and that he's like doing it for her, but we don't need that because we didn't establish that relationship well in the movie.
We didn't establish that yet.
And so like, yeah, he should just be drawing Dracula. He should be like on a one-man mission to fucking finish what he started. Like,
yeah,
right?
100%. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't love it either, but largely because it is scary. So if you just like scary, like jump factory movies, I get why you might like this movie. But it is aggressively not for me. And it sounds like it's not for you either, Paige.
It's not for me. Although I'm going to say if you like jump scares, go see Weapons instead where they're earned. Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish my body could tell the difference between an earned and an unearned jump scare. But my brain can. Paige, do you want to give us some fun facts?
Yes.
Well, here it is with your fun facts.
Last Voyage of the Demeter, fun facts.
It's such a long title.
Parrot, chicken, turtle, lizard, fun facts. So Dracula's look in this is based on Count Orlok from Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror in 1922.
Yeah, not the more recent one to this movie.
Not the more recent one because we do see Dracula naked, but there's no dong in this. No hanging dong.
He's got that Ken dong.
Right.
Because it's just all smooth.
It's just all smooth. This was also the model for Barlow in the original Salem's Lot from 1979. Prior to learning about Dracula, the crew suspect rabies, as we talked about. Now, vampirism, as described by Bram Stoker in the book, was based on the progression of the rabies virus in humans, which again takes time, and it influences vampires' association with bats and wolves. Two animals are very commonly rabies carriers, right?
Yeah.
So like that's why it's those animals. The rabies was something they knew about at the time, and that's kind of what he bases the virus on. But that means it takes people weeks and months, and ultimately there's no cure in that situation where it is rabies. Now we can treat it, as evidenced by the Office episode where Meredith gets hit by a car, but at the time they could not. So
amazing.
Just an interesting note for that inclusion. This spent 20 years in development hell, having changed the directors, the writers, and the script several times. So I would assume that maybe one of those versions didn't have the logic errors that we saw.
Perhaps.
The reason all the crates are full of dirt, we kind of talked about this last week, but Dracula needs dirt, like his ancestral dirt from his homeland to regenerate his health while he rests at night. He also, his cane has a wolf head. In the book, Dracula can transform into a wolf as well as a bat and a fog. So it's likely a reference to that or to set up like a werewolf, Wolfman additional movie, which I think Robert Eggers is doing a werewolf movie, and I'd rather watch that one as opposed to whatever this one was trying to set up.
I mean, yeah, although this isn't Robert Eggers, but
Nosferatu was last week. That's why
it was for sure. Yeah. This is the guy who did, I can't remember his last name. It's Andre something.
It's Overdahl.
Overdahl is how you say it?
Yeah, he basically describes this as Alien on a ship, which we mentioned multiple times. There are some scenes that are deliberately lifted from Alien.
Yeah.
But Alien actually has an interesting metaphor and doesn't have logic issues. So
Yeah.
The screenwriter first conceived this version of the movie while working in a model shop in Hollywood and seeing the miniature of the Demeter used in Dracula from 1992, the Gary Oldman one.
Okay.
They wanted Dracula to feel different and more animalistic. I feel like 30 Days of Night does that really well, and this one kind of does, but like...
I would say it looks like he's mainly animal and barely a human hybrid at all, and doesn't seem to have the full intelligence of a human person. So this movie, I think, treats Dracula like he's an animal, but not animalistic in the way that you're referring to, if that makes sense. Because animalistic, you mean like raw shredding of like, flesh and like just like biting into people. And we don't really see that from this Dracula.
Yeah.
He's just like kind of half a chicken that's plucked.
Right. Now, you kind of brought this up because you Googled it, but I have some exact dates for you. The film is set in the 1890s. And Clemens makes a point to note that he was a Black graduate of Cambridge Medical School. However, Cambridge specifically did not admit Black students into its medical school until 20 years later. And the first Black student to graduate with a medical degree did not graduate until 1918.
Yeah, okay.
So
yeah, I just looked up like if they allowed students from colonies at all.
Right, yeah.
And they had only allowed like 7 in between 1800 and 1900, and that was just for all of Cambridge, not just for their medical school. So like, yeah, I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
I would assume those 7 were Australian.
I would assume as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to find specifically that, but I could only find where it was mentioned like colony. Anyway.
Right. Now, in earlier drafts of the script, the main character was a Romanian peasant named Alexei, who was pursuing Dracula to avenge the murder of his son. Depending on the draft, the son was either the baby that Dracula fed to his brides in the original novel, or Dracula has 3 brides in the original novel, or was somebody they kidnapped and fed upon while the vampire was on the road to Varna. That makes more sense to me because then somebody knows how to kill it, right?
Yeah.
Or at least tries to. Now, the original script had an all-male crew. It did not have the character of Anna, much like The Thing. It did have 2 other women as corpses who get discovered in the hole to have been stowed away by Dracula for nourishment, and that is among the deleted scenes on the disc. David Dalsmachian had actually written a screenplay similar to this, and when he presented it to a production company, they told him it was already in production, and then he was offered a role.
That's wild. Just because he is one of those guys that can do the acting side and the writing side.
Yeah.
So it's wild to have written something and then be like, hey, this is actually a lot like a movie we're already doing. Do you want a part in it, though? Because you'd be great.
Here's what bothers me about it, because I bet his script was better.
I know. I wouldn't be shocked by that either. Yeah.
Like, I'd bet dollars to donuts his script was better.
Yeah.
I'll leave on this one. The producer, Bradley J. Fisher, one of the producers, revealed in an interview that the ending almost included a insert for Professor Abraham Van Helsing. As I joked, but that was actually very real. They went through a lot of different approaches to the story, but nothing that was widely different from the movie we ended up with. We had one ending for quite a while where Clemens is in the tavern and he's approached by a strange shadowy dude that starts talking to him. And it is revealed that that is Van Helsing. And then we kind of left it there.
Yeah.
And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for The Last Voyage of the Demeter in 2023?
Probably too much. I'm going to say 35 million.
Yeah, it's actually 45 million, which doesn't surprise me. Shooting on a boat like they clearly are.
Yes.
In the water like they clearly are. Even if you're on like a set.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of noise, and even capturing sound is a challenge. So it just makes things so much harder and because of that more expensive. So I buy it. I don't think there was like, we sometimes joke about, oh, somebody embezzled some money or whatever. I don't think they did that. I just think it's incredibly difficult to make a movie like they made it.
I don't think they're on a boat for most of it. I think it's almost all green screen, and I think any interior shot is a soundstage.
I would hope so, honestly. But like solving those problems cost a lot of money because you got to get a soundstage that's big enough to like house the interior of a boat and then like green screen it out and like
right, and then move that interior because you do have to rock it back and forth.
Yeah, so like solving those problems that you'd have to solve to have a movie set at sea the whole time is expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you adjust for inflation, it's a little bit more. It's already an extra $2.7 million more. It's $47.7 million today. But this movie premiered the weekend of August 11th, 2023. It was fifth in the theaters it came out, and it was released in 2,715 theaters, which at the time, I think that may have been almost a wide, if not completely wide release.
Yeah, at the time.
Because it was like, I don't know.
We were just coming out of COVID.
Exactly. Like, I'm not sure if all theaters were back open again and like showing at full capacity, but I don't know. It might have been. But that week it was fifth. Like I mentioned, it was beat by the number one movie, Barbie, which edged out Oppenheimer by, and I say edged out like it was even close. Barbie brought in $33.8 million and Oppenheimer brought in $18.8 million that weekend because it wasn't as good of a movie. Number three was a movie series I've referenced a few times. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem was third that week. Number four was Meg 2, The Trench. And number five was The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Paige, what do you think The Last Voyage of the Demeter brought in its opening weekend, that weekend of August 11th, 2023?
I mean, summer, you've always got slightly bigger opening weekends, but I'm going to say this brings in $8 million its opening weekend.
It brought in $6.5 million its opening weekend.
No.
The fourth place movie, which was again Meg 2, The Trench, but it is Meg 2, the number 2, not T-O, The Trench. Anyway, it brought in $12.8 million. So it was a big jump between fourth and fifth. Anyway, so this movie was only in theaters for 4 weeks total, but it was never again in the top 10 even. What do you think it brought in domestically at the box office in that 4-week run, Paige?
4-week run, I think it brings in a maximum of $24 million.
Oh, Paige, they would have loved you if that's what they brought in.
They
brought in $13.6 million.
That's terrible.
In the domestic box office, it's pretty bad. Yeah. And internationally, it did bring in another 6.7. So it got up to $20.3 million, which again is about $25 million under what the budget was for the movie. So this movie did pretty badly. The whole market performance did bring another $2.3 million. So it is cutting into that $25 million gap that they had between the budget and the box office performance worldwide. But that is where it sits today at a very unprofitable movie.
Brutal. scale.
Yeah. But Paige, do you want to hit us with that scary scale?
Sure. Our scary scale is a scale of 1 to 10 of how scary we found the movie, with 1 being Ghostbusters, 10 being Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Todd.
I'm gonna give this movie a 5. I think I would have given it more had the exposure not been dialed in for a perfect theater performance. Because even in the dark, I was missing stuff because it was so dark on screen.
Yeah.
And I get in the theater that would look amazing. It just isn't great for non-theater performance. So, but I did think it was very scary. I was very scared.
I mean, the dark is definitely a factor. I was not scared. I was too frustrated by the logic problems.
You were like taken out of it by the lore being all over the place and stuff. Yeah.
Not even just the lore. Because here's the thing. I'm here for like, hey, we're going to take this in a different direction, but all the rules in the movie make sense.
Right.
They can't even follow their own rules. And that's where I'm struggling.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a 1 for me. I was not scared.
Fair enough.
That is your scary scale.
So Paige, this week you made us watch The Last Voyage of the Demeter. What are you going to make us watch next week as we continue? It is just straight up vampire month, right? Or like
It's vampire month, but it's basically turned into Dracula month, because the next movie we're doing is one we saw at Panic Fest 2 years ago and meant to do and have never had a chance to do. So we are doing.
I forgot we talked about doing this.
Yes, we're doing Renfield. I'm actually very excited about it. I liked Renfield a lot.
Yeah, we're bringing Nicholas Hoult back in the same month because he is playing kind of the same character a little bit in the movie Renfield in a much more fun lens.
A little bit. Yeah. It's a little different. He's more the guy that was like biting heads off doves, but he's like breaking away from that.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. But yes, we'll be watching Renfield.
So guys, that's your homework for next week.
Hey, do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. And Paige, I know this is going to sound crazy, but someone on our Nosferatu comments on Spotify wrote, I'm going to just say a really quick one scene play, and I want you to help me act it out.
Okay.
This comes in from Anthony H. Came in 5 hours ago, Paige.
Great.
I'm gonna drop your side of the dialogue in the chat. You're playing the devil.
Okay.
And you start. So whenever you're ready.
You will walk the earth as one of the unliving. The plague will follow you, and your shadow will harbor such horror. Your body will rot, so feed on the blood of the living.
Very well. My one request is to keep the mustache pristine and bushy.
Well, that really is irrelevant in the big picture here. Are you sure that's your only
The mustache says!
Finn.
And that's the entire comment. There's no explanation. There's no like, hey, this would be funny or this scene would be funny. They just like dropped in their little one scene play. And I kind of loved it. It was very funny to me.
I love it as well. Vampire hairstyles are something heavily discussed in True Blood and in almost no other vampire lore, except for maybe some Anne Rice.
You got to keep it pristine and bushy. That's what I learned from Anthony H. So thank you so much for that one scene play. And if you want to have me read your one scene play, or 5-star Apple review, leave us a Spotify comment or a 5-star Apple review, and I'll do just that. So guys, if you like this show but want to hear Paige and I talk about romantic comedies or just regular romantic movies, check out our other podcast, some might call it a sister podcast, called Romancing the Pod, where we do just that weekly. It's a lot like this show, but for romance and romantic comedies, because Paige doesn't like them. So we make her watch them, just like you guys make me watch horror over here. But if you want to follow me, I am at Todd J. Awesome on all the social media. Paige is at Rampage Wesley on Instagram?
Yes, and TikTok.
And just Paige Wesley on Twitter, because you got that before some CEO lady and she wanted it, but you wouldn't give it back, and I respect you for that.
Refuse.
Also, Paige
Suck it, other Paige Wesley.
Paige is also on another podcast. It's great. You should check it out. It's called Cult Podcast with Armando Torres, who is a wonderful person. And if you want to support this show, go to Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where there are a lot of great levels and a lot of great things. We do the Patreon shout outs at the beginning of every episode. We do listener requests, stuff like that, bonus episodes. So you'll be getting all of that content, plus episodes a day early with no ads, and who doesn't love that? So sign up for the Patreon and get a lot of great stuff.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys on Paige.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah. Have an amazing week, guys. Bye.